A Midsummer-Night's Dream, Part 2, The Magic Flower. Now, the wood which Hermia and Lysander had appointed as their trysting place, and where Bottom and his fellow actors were also to meet to rehearse their play, was the favourite haunt of fairies, and on this midsummer night, Oberon, king of the fairies, was to hold his revels there. Sad to say, for some time past there had been great dissension between Oberon and his queen Titania, and because of their quarrels nothing went well in the surrounding country. The cause of their disagreement was a lovely Indian boy, the sweetest little changeling imaginable. Queen Titania had him as her attendant, and jealous Oberon wanted the boy for his own page. Titania refused to give him up. He was the child of a dear friend, now dead. And for her sake she had reared up the boy, and for her sake she would not part with him. Oberon and Titania never met now, in grove or green, by the clear fountain, or in the spangled starlight, without quarrelling so fiercely that their elves crept for fear into acorn cups, and hid themselves there. They generally tried to keep out of each other's way. But on this night it happened that as King Oberon, with his little sprite Puck and his train, approached from one direction, Queen Titania and her attendant fairies came near from the other. Titania reproached Oberon with all the ill luck that was happening because of their dissension, and Oberon replied that it only lay with her to amend it. "Why should Titania cross her Oberon?" he asked. "I do but beg a little changeling boy to be my henchman." "Set your heart at rest," replied Titania. "The whole of Fairyland will not buy the child of me." "How long do you intend to stay in this wood?" asked Oberon. "Perhaps till after Theseus's wedding day," said Titania. "If you will join patiently in our dance, and see our moonlight revels, go with us. If not, shun me, and I will take care to avoid your haunts." "Give me that boy, and I will go with you," said Oberon. "Not for your fairy kingdom," was the decided answer. "Fairies, away! We shall quarrel in earnest if I stay any longer." As he could not win the boy by entreaty, Oberon resolved to try another plan to gain his desire. Calling his little sprite Puck to him, he bade him go and fetch a certain magic flower which maidens call love in idleness. The juice of this flower had a wonderful charm. When laid on the eyelids of a sleeping man or woman, it had the power of making that person dote madly on the next living creature that was seen. Oberon determined to squeeze some of the juice of this flower on Titania's eyes while she slept, so that when she woke up she should immediately fall in love with the first creature she saw, whether it were lion, bear, wolf, or bull, meddling monkey, or busy ape. He determined also that he would not take off the charm, which he could do with another herb, until she had rendered up the little Indian boy as page to him. "Fetch me this herb," he said to Puck, "and be thou here again before the Leviathan can swim a league." "I'll put a girdle round the earth in 40 minutes, cried the prompt little messenger, and away he flew. While King Oberon was awaiting Puck's return, he saw the unhappy Lady Helena approaching with her faithless lover Demetrius. Oberon was invisible, and thus he overheard what they said. Demetrius had come to the wood in search of Hermia and Lysander, for Helena had told him of their proposed flight. Oberon heard Helena confess how deeply she loved Demetrius, and he heard Demetrius spurn her roughly and declare he loved no one but Hermia. Oberon was sorry for Helena, and he determined to punish Demetrius. He resolved to put some of the magic juice on the eyes of Demetrius, so that when he woke and saw Helena, he should fall in love with her again, and then it would be Helena's turn to repulse Demetrius and refuse to listen to him. Demetrius and Helena had scarcely gone on their way when Puck returned. "Hast thou the flower there? Welcome, wanderer," said Oberon. "Aye, there it is," said Puck. "I pray thee, give it me," said Oberon, and his voice glided into a sweet chant. "I know a bank where the wild thyme blows, where oxlips and the nodding violet grows, quite over-canopied with luscious woodbine, with sweet musk roses, and with eglantine. There sleeps Titania, some time of the night, lulled in these flowers, with dances and delight. And there the snake throws her enamelled skin, weed wide enough to wrap a fairy in. And with the juice of this I'll streak her eyes, and make her full of hateful fantasies. Oberon found Titania, as he had expected, and, stealing up quietly while she slept, he squeezed some of the magic juice on her eyelids, repeating this charm as he did so. What thou seest when thou dost wake, do it for thy true love take. Love and languish for his sake, be it ounce, or cat, or bear, pard, or boar with bristled hair. When thou wakest, it is thy dear. Wake when some vile thing is near. And, laughing to himself at the strange experience which was likely to befall Titania, off went Oberon. The next wanderers to pass through that part of the wood were Hermia and Lysander in their flight from Athens. Being weary, they lay down to rest, and speedily fell asleep. King Oberon had told Puck to go in search of a sweet Athenian lady who was in love with a disdainful youth. When Puck found them, he was to drop some of the juice on the eyes of the man, but to take care to do this when the next thing he espied would be the lady. Puck would know the man by his Athenian garments, added Oberon. Of course, by this, Oberon meant Demetrius, but Puck came across Lysander and Hermia instead, and, thinking they must be the couple referred to, he squeezed the magic juice on the eyelids of Lysander. This mistake of little Puck's led to a great deal of fresh mischief. Soon afterwards, Demetrius came running along, followed by Helena. In the darkness of the night, Demetrius did not notice the very people he was in search of, Lysander and Hermia. Demetrius was very angry that Helena would persist in following him, and, bidding her roughly stay where she was, he hurried off alone. Helena, indeed, was too weary to pursue him further. She was just bewailing his unkind treatment when she was startled to see Lysander lying on the ground. She did not know whether he were dead or asleep, and hastily roused him. What thou seest when thou dost wake, do it for thy true love take. Now what happened? The fairy charm began to take effect. Lysander had gone to sleep in love with Hermia, but, opening his eyes, his first glance fell on Helena. And in accordance with the fairy charm, his affections were immediately transferred to Helena. He began speaking at once to Helena, and told her that he no longer cared for Hermia. Helena could not understand what all this meant. She thought Lysander was mocking her, and left him indignantly. But Lysander followed, for he was now determined to have no one but Helena. Lysander! Alack! Where are you? Poor Hermia awoke in terror from a horrible dream. She thought a serpent was crawling over her, eating her heart, and that Lysander sat by, smiling. She shrieked to Lysander to come and help her, but there was no answer. Lysander had gone. Again she called, Lysander, Lord! What, out of hearing? Gone? No sound, no word? Alack, where are you? Speak, if you can hear. Speak! I almost swoon with dread. But when again no answer came to her piteous appeal, Hermia knew in truth that Lysander was gone, and she set off at once to try to find him.